Welcome to The Hidden Truth. We're still pretty new to YouTube, and we're looking to expand our channel. If you enjoy our videos, please consider sharing them on social media or other UFO communities. Your support means everything to us.
This is a compilation of 7 UFO sightings over China from 1963 to 1971. Each incident is short and to the point. 1. 1963. Airliner chased by UFOs. On an unspecified day in October 1963, a Light-2 Airliner, a Soviet-built version of the Douglas DC-3 on the Fujian to Wuhan air route, was chased by 3 luminous, unidentified flying objects for 15 minutes. The pilots gave a minute-by-minute report by radio to the Chinese Civil Aeronautics Administration, and on landing the crew was debriefed by air traffic control. The passengers were interviewed by the authorities and were ordered not to discuss the incident with anyone. 2. 1964. Jet fighters scrambled after UFO. On the 1st of January 1964, many citizens in Shanghai observed a huge cigar-shaped aerial object flying slowly toward the southwest. MiG fighters were scrambled in pursuit but failed to force the UFO down. The official explanation was that the object was an American missile. 3. 1968. Chinese Navy fired on UFO. In early 1968, 4 Coast Guard artillerymen of the naval garrison at Luda, Liaoning Province, in North China, saw a gold, luminous, oval-shaped object which flew alongside, leaving a thin trail in the air. It then climbed steeply at an incredible speed and eventually disappeared. At the moment when the object began to climb, all communications and radar systems failed, almost causing an accident in the fleet. The naval patrol went on alert, and the fleet commander ordered his men to prepare for combat. Half an hour later, communications and radar returned to normal. A 2-man Coast Guard patrol reportedly saw the UFO land on the south coast and fired at it with automatic rifles and machine guns, but soldiers sent to investigate found no trace of the object. 4. 1968. A landing in the Gobi Desert. In mid-April 1968, Gu Yang, an interpreter for the New China Agency, was sent to a military construction regiment in the North Gobi Desert where he was working on an irrigation project when quite late in the day a comrade drew the battalion's attention to a strange phenomenon. This is the first-hand account. I saw a great disk of light trailing flames as it slowly descended to the Gobi sands. It was a luminous red-orange in color and had an apparent diameter of 3 meters before it landed. It passed alongside a slight inclination above the horizon. We could see a separate, more luminous point of light flashing in the mass of light. As it was less than a kilometer from us when it passed by, we could see the detail clearly. It landed suddenly, and the commander of the company telephoned the headquarters of the regiment, who dispatched a team of motorcycle troops to approach it. Without doubt, the arrival of the motorcycle troops was detected by the disc, because it suddenly ascended like an arrow and disappeared in the sky above. As the northern frontier, with the USSR, passes through this region, most witnesses felt that this was a new reconnaissance machine from the enemy to the north, inspecting the progress of work on the canal. We did not know anything about UFOs at that time. The object left traces of its landing in the form of a seared cross on the ground. As we knew nothing of these objects, we did not study the mark. We only thought in political terms and believed that this signified some kind of preparation for an eventual enemy attack from the north. The soldiers long stationed in the Gobi had seen these things before, and the great fireballs in the sky were not so unusual to them. The landing and takeoff were a new whist. 5. 1970. UFO lands in Fujian province on an unspecified date at 2200 hours in the early part of 1970. A peasant of the train district of Fujian province saw a metallic pan-shaped flying object descend and land behind a hill. The object radiated a brilliant green light, and a strange musical tone could be heard emanating from it. The peasant duly reported this to the village headman, and the local army commander mobilized hundreds of soldiers who attempted to surround the object. After about an hour, the UFO emitted a bright white light, forcing the soldiers to retreat as it rapidly took off vertically. A member of the militia present, who insisted on anonymity, said that although they could see the brilliant light, they were unable to hear any sound while they observed the object. 6. 1970. Chinese village enveloped in a strange blue light. While in the foregoing account no names are mentioned, another undated military report from 1970 names Liu Jianzhu of the People's Liberation Army, who was on sentry duty in the remote Gansu province when he claims to have seen an entire village enveloped in a strange blue light one night. I looked toward the source of the light and saw a flattened oval-shaped luminous object in the sky, reported the soldier. Its center was a golden yellow, and it was surrounded by a deep orange-colored cloud. After 2 minutes it picked up speed and flew to the east. Owing to his fear of the authorities at the time, Liu Jianzhu withheld his story for 10 years before coming forward and publicly relating the details. Apparently many such sightings have been made throughout Gansu and Xinjiang provinces, especially in the Gobi Desert near the Soviet border, and a special military UFO study group was formed to keep track of sightings in the border area. 7. 1971. Chinese military chase a UFO. Another witness who claims to have seen a UFO, which was immediately investigated by the military, is Chen Chu of a People's Liberation Army unit stationed in Dingxian City, Gobi province. The event occurred sometime during the last 10 days of September 1971, while the Army unit was carrying out an assignment in a small valley north of the city. At about 7:30, when the sky had just begun to grow dark, we suddenly discovered a circular ball-like object, like the moon, rising slowly to the north of our quarters. The ball gave out a lot of misty gas from its edges. After remaining in the sky for several seconds, it spurted out a strong jet of mist or smoke and rose to a certain height. Then it remained stationary for some seconds, and then rose again to a new height. Then it stopped for some more seconds, and began to drop down until it gradually disappeared in the night sky. As our Army units were in a state of combat readiness due to the Linbi incident, we reported our discovery instantly to our superior authorities and dispatched a motor car to pursue the flying object. Because of the ruggedness of the mountain road, the motor car turned back after chasing the object. For many years I have tried to explain it as a plane, a balloon, or some other flying thing, but I've always felt that there is a very great difference between such things and the object observed. My take. These incidents are all pretty good. Hard to imagine that they were all Russian military spy planes. Resources. Above top secret. Timothy Good, 1988.